I'm Peter Youngblood, MMR, your host. And you know what? It's always sunny here in the Southwest. Well, actually, okay, we're on location in the basement of my home in Georgia. But my model railroad runs through the Southwest. So you know what? We'll just have to pretend. Come on.
My layout continues to be an enjoyable challenge to recreate a 1960s composite of Santa Fe's route and operations from La Junta, Colorado over Raton Pass into New Mexico and Arizona. Not strictly a prototype modeler, I'm more a dioramist wanting to capture recognizable elements of each location. La Junta, or La Junta in Spanish, means the junction. Located on the banks of the Arkansas River and still under construction is the layout's main yard for eastward or westward arrivals and departures. At the east end are engine service facilities, an ice plant, yard office, and way car or caboose storage tracks. Midpoint in the yard is Western Canning, a canned goods distributor. The coach yard at the west end has an REA facility and a commissary loading, always fresh, Fred Harvey Food Supplies. Train 190 from Denver and Pueblo, the usual E8M power up front, arrives at La Junta via the CNSD and RGW joint line interchange. Just under 1 hour later, passengers ticketed to destinations farther west will transfer to number 17, the Santa Fe's luxurious all-sleeping car westward Super Chief. Train 17, the first-class Super Chief, arrives at La Junta this mid-May day. After a 10-minute stop, it will continue its westward route from Chicago to Los Angeles over Raton Pass and eventually Cajon Pass farther west. At the coach yard, a Baldwin VO1000, still in zebra stripes, switches a heavyweight combine and a horse car. Its brief stop over, the Super Chief accelerates out of La Junta. The priority Super Chief now in the clear, Extra 408 West requests and receives clearance from the La Junta dispatcher. 408 West is a mixed-rate local turn to Raton and Las Vegas, New Mexico. At Las Vegas, it will turn to become Extra 804 East. Located on a spur at the west end of La Junta is the Colorado Livestock Company with its stock car cleaning facility and double-chute stock pen. Here, local ranchers ship or receive cattle, sheep, pigs, even horses on occasion. Now, the model does include a sound chip that gives realistic livestock sounds, but fortunately not the aroma. Highway 50 enters La Junta beneath Santa Fe's main line. The Wooten Ranch was once a Santa Fe Trail toll road. In 1865, pioneer rancher Uncle Dick Wooten hired local Ute Indians to improve the treacherous trail that ran through his land, charging wagons $1.25 and horsemen 25 cents for using it. The Santa Fe Railway acquired the trail from him in 1878 by agreeing to buy his wife groceries and free train travel into perpetuity. Built over sections of the old 27-mile trail between Trinidad and Raton are the railroad's mainline tracks. Another part of the trail is the ranch's lower access road running under the tracks. Here at Wooten, we catch Train 17, the Super Chief, climbing slowly up Raton Pass's 3.5% ruling grade, a power struggle at times requiring additional helper locomotives. At 7,588 feet, this is the highest point on the railroad. Until 1953, the Raton Tunnel was double-tracked and the original 1879 bore closed. The old roadbed is still visible. The mile-long tunnel is in New Mexico as indicated by the state line marker. In Spanish, Raton means mouse, yet its geological identity is Goat Hill, a high bluff. Go figure. State Highway 72 leads into town. Raton was the western terminus servicing and turning helper steam locomotives. In the 1960s, the Division Point's greatly diminished facilities still serviced and turned helpers, mainly RSD-7s or RSD-4s, on an 85-foot turntable. Approaching Raton in the background, Highway 85 crosses over the main line. In 1906, the roundhouse had 19 stalls. In the 1960s, only 6 remained. I only had room for 3. Also at that time, the tall coaling towers were converted to sand for diesels. Way cars, as Santa Fe calls cabooses, are resupplied before returning to their assigned divisions. Tonnage is calculated before releasing eastward trains downgrade. To date, I've only built a few of Raton's many structures. Extra GFX-E, a solid reefer block loaded with California citrus, arrives at Raton, its cars for re-icing and locomotives for fuel and servicing. Here, local switch engine S2 number 2334 carefully lines the second grouping of GFX-E refrigerator cars to the Raton Crystal Ice and Storage icing dock. Crushed or block ice are loaded, and salt when required. West of Raton, paralleling Route 66 and the Canadian River, is the Happy Bottom Campground, a Texaco station, and Montoya Brothers, a local oil and lubricant distributor. A 2-lane overpass leads to High Mesa. A church and the Yucca Drive-In are the compact community's popular attractions, although not necessarily in that order. NW2-2403 shoves a pair of tank cars to the Montoya Brothers unloading tracks. Now, the engineer has to be careful here because the spur actually runs slightly downgrade. On display in the city of Las Vegas, New Mexico, is a Santa Fe steam locomotive, a 280 consolidation. Numbered for its class, it's also a reminder of the era I'm modeling, in case I forget. At the east end of Las Vegas is a fire department. Moving west across Las Vegas is a scale printout of Fred Harvey's La Castaneda Hotel I've yet to build, background buildings, and the Las Vegas Depot. Restoration of the real historic hotel completed, it reopened in 2019. Farther west from the depot are a house track, more background buildings, including two abandoned ones in need of demolishing. Rolling upgrade into Las Vegas at French Junction, a brace of SD-24s on the point, is Westward Unit Coal Train YCLA. Flood loaded at New Mexico's York Canyon coal mine, the symbol freight train is headed for the Los Angeles Basin, terminating at Kaiser Steel in Fontana. It will return empty as LAYC to do it all over again. Hobos have established a camp on the outskirts of Las Vegas. One hobo, Tyrell Spiker, or Ty for short, has broken camp and headed out for parts unknown. Another is content to have found a stiff breeze to fly his kite. West of Las Vegas, Galenas Feeds receives and ships grains to customers nationwide. The Las Vegas switcher is pulling a just emptied grain hopper from the unloading track. Retired Galenas Feeds former owner, Tony Galenas, and his wife, well, they still live close by. Daughters come to visit. A house painter is putting on a fresh coat. And their son plows the vegetable garden. Down by the Galenas River, son-in-law and grandson are trout fishing. They notice a hawk swooping low, hoping to steal its share. Looks to me like the hawk has competition. Leaving Las Vegas, we soon enter Apache Canyon. Deep in the canyon is a spider bridge, so called because its outriggers are anchored to stepped concrete abutments on either side of the canyon walls. Apache Creek parallels the mainline track and crosses underneath it in two places. Perched high atop the canyon is resident bird, the southwestern procrastinator. Train 24, the eastward Grand Canyon, PAs in the lead, guide the all-heavyweight consist through the canyon. Next stop is Las Vegas. After a 10-minute stop at Las Vegas, the Grand Canyon continues eastward. Throughout much of its system, Santa Fe trains run on right-hand track. West from Apache Canyon is Row, its depot and second-floor agents' quarters boarded up. A station sign now indicates timetable location. Row is little more than a rest stop for tourists. It has a volunteer fire department, a curio shop selling Native American items, some actually authentic, a monument park, a grocery store, a gas station, and cottages for overnight stays. A semaphore at Row indicates oncoming traffic. Moments later, Row's grade crossing flashers activate and the gates come down. as number 17, the all high level coach El Capitan, hurries past. A quartet of F7s, 21C up front, the El Cap slows to cross to the right-hand track before stopping at Lamy. The westward train carries the same train number, 17, as the Super Chief. Both timetables scheduled the same, one following behind the other. Now clear of the block at row, the semaphore indication returns to clear. At Lamy East is the byproduct stock pen, an area shipping and receiving facility for Black Angus and Santa Gertrudis cattle ranchers. Apparently, the owner also deals in used cows and dead stock removal. SW9 2428, the local switcher shoves an empty to the pen's loading gate. West of the stock pen is a steel water tank and two railroad buildings. The first is the water tank's pump house. The second is the agent's house. Next is the general store and post office, where Davidson Harley is showing his new ride to the Railway Express driver. Two women admire Navajo weaves while waiting for the arrival of the westward Super Chief. Lamy and its Mission Revival style depot is named after Roman Catholic Bishop Jean Baptiste Lamy from France, who in the mid 1800s came to New Mexico, was the state's first archbishop, and was instrumental in building the city of Santa Fe's earliest churches and educational facilities. Lamy is the stop for the Santa Fe's namesake city. From here, passengers are transported to Santa Fe in motor coaches. City of Santa Fe shipments going to or received from mainline trains at Lamy are handled via a 26-mile branch line connection. This afternoon, GP 92790 is working the branch. Built in 1880, the legal tender is a saloon with a long, colorful history. Hours of operation are subject to customer sobriety. Here's Lamy's railroad maintenance shed and adjacent surveyor's trailer. Tucked in the hills above Lamy is the Mission Chapel Our Lady of Light. Built in 1926, it's been abandoned for decades in spite of restoration efforts. An ominous-looking thunderstorm approaches Defiance, an abandoned mining town showing signs of possible rebirth. Inspired by derelict mine buildings at Madrid, a New Mexico pronunciation of Madrid, Defiance as a model town is situated right on the New Mexico-Arizona border, as indicated by the state line marker just shy of a double-track girder bridge spanning Chaco Wash. Horses and pack mules hitched, Peter Panner and Kyle Kibitzer try their luck at Chaco Wash, keenly aware of how quickly thunderstorms can turn the wash into a raging torrent. Clouds darken in Arizona at Canyon Diablo. In the distance are the San Francisco Mountains and snow-capped Humphreys Peak. Built in 1947, the double-track steel bridge replaced a single-track bridge, a bottleneck as revenue traffic increased. A figure is crossing the bridge. It's Ty Spiker. The old hobo has walked the entire length of one state into another. 275 scale feet below the bridge, Extra 235 West crosses the Little Colorado River. On a timer-sequenced loop, Extra 235 West is modeled in N-scale, forcing scenic perspective. At the West Darling Spur, Diamond D ranch hands drive Hereford cattle to the ranch's stock pen. The layout requires 8 operators plus a dispatcher. Yard crews work from switch lists. Road crews work from waybills carried and from bill boxes placed at appropriate layout locations. Real time accelerated to a 6-to-1 ratio lengthens timetable distances. FRS, two-way radio communications between the dispatcher and all crews control and monitor train movements. A dated, like me, CVP rail command system currently provides train power.
Well, thanks for visiting the Santa Fe, Colorado, and Albuquerque divisions. I hope you enjoyed seeing it. I know I enjoyed showing it to you. So I look forward to your visit next time. So please come on back.